brother, this is my end. Welcome to my place. This is like common sense. I try to keep it down and then degree in 10 minutes. Something very important because everything I say is fucking important. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, baby. Okay. So I make my videos not monotone, sitting there like, well, I know that. Did I waste a minute of your time yet? I sit there and I think, and of course I realized that I was being picked on and I was in a black neighborhood, and of course I don't believe in white privilege, and of course I believe that we are all privileged, okay? But of course, have I wasted them? If you have any comments, questions, or insults, you put it down below. And if you have any comments, questions, or insults, you put it down below. If you have any comments, questions, or insults, you put it down below. Okay. Now, a minute has passed, and most of the idiots have left off the page. Thank you very much. I did not ask you to subscribe. I did not ask you to like or dislike. But, of course, everything will be blocked, monitored, and scrutinized. Okay, motherfuckers, okay? Now, this video is going to be about a response video about a woman who basically was confused, so I had to clear it up for her. So why she feels this way psychologically, because she's not a psychologist. But of course, I'm gonna reply back to this video, and you can watch it in the description box. And of course, as I said before, there is such thing as white privilege. There's even black privilege. There's even Jewish privilege, and there even is Chinese privilege or Asian Oriental privilege in America. As a matter of fact, all across the world, as a matter of fact, there is different types of privileges that you must pinpoint and understand what you're talking about. Okay. Now, the thing is that as I watched her video, I watched it like about 3 minutes of it, and she basically said, you are basically angry or have a chip on your shoulder because of something that happened to you and your past. But let me tell you my past, okay? I said, that's definitely not true at all. I have white friends. I have gay friends. I have hillbilly friends. I have redneck friends. I have racist friends. I think her demographical social media area of her own limitations and ignorance is showing on her video, but it's okay. But I'm going to explain it to you. I lived in a black neighborhood. I lived in Brooklyn, New York, Bed-Stuy, motherfucker, where niggas was shooting each other day in, day out. You cannot go outside past 10 o'clock p.m., right? And even my white friends would say, we call them a coon train motherfucker, a black, Oreo type motherfucker. That's why I got along with a lot of white folks. I say, hey, I don't like niggas myself, I don't like niggas myself. They like the way I talk, okay? Because I don't like niggas, okay? And you call me a coon, okay? No, it's not that. I love niggas, okay? I love Negroes. I love chocolate, okay? Okay, because once you go black, you don't go back, okay? So let me just clear it up. I used to live in a bad neighborhood, in the ghetto. It used to be ghetto. Now it's pretty nice now. And I made a spell, because I'm into magic too as well. So that makes me more unique and eccentric. And I realized all these niggas was killing each other. These niggas, this is egocentric as fuck. She said a point that made a lot of shit make a lot of sense. Most of the crime is caused upon themselves. So if you think that, when I'm talking about crime, I'm talking about themselves, okay? We're not talking about blacks committing higher crimes on white people here. We're not talking about that here. We're talking about, statistically talking about black on black crime. It's the highest, okay, of anything, okay? But when she said that blacks will deserve to be in jail, she is absolutely correct. When she said that she felt privileged in a sense to where because she moved into a white neighborhood, I felt the same thing. I felt privileged because I lived in a white neighborhood too as well. I moved to Clairton, PA. Now it's a fucked up neighborhood. It's a fucking gangster place now. Niggas has overrun that place. I'm glad I don't live there now. Century 3 townhomes. Don't live there. Century 3 townhomes. Motherfucker, Clairton, PA. My friend lives out there. Okay, so I tried to tell, I said, you better get the fuck out of here. You shouldn't have brought no property out there. And then they got this one Italian dude telling me they got dirt mites, mites eating up the wood underneath the property and stuff. That's why a lot of the property is being destroyed. They're not being renovated because they know about them damn bugs, okay? Oh my goodness, that's like a curse for niggas, okay? But please understand that white privilege does exist, because I tested this theory out myself. Why don't you try this white theory out shit for yourself? If you're traveling along the road and you do a crime, okay, because I did this before. One time, I think I almost stole a wallet. Okay, and my friend said, "Hey, why don't you get a wallet?" I wanted to get that goddamn wallet. That was a nice looking wallet. Because just because I was with my white friend, they let us go. Okay. Now I'm gonna tell you right now, there's a certain benefit for having a white friend nearby. Okay, and there's a certain benefit for having a black friend nearby, especially if you're living in the hood. Okay, because I brought my boy Chuck into the moss, so he's my best friend. Okay. So what can they do to him? Because I have black privilege in the Muslim community, motherfucker, okay? All right, assalamu alaikum, motherfucker. Please understand that there is such thing as white privilege and black privilege and also Asian privilege. If you go to a Chinese restaurant and you fill out an application, you're 90% not likely to get hired in Oriental, restaurants. Capiche? You go into a black restaurant and you're white, you're 90% not likely to get hired in a black restaurant. If you go, as a matter of fact, test this theory out, because I've told you I did this before. Take out a bunch of applications, have a white friend versus you. Go in there, you go in there first. You fill out your motherfucking application. You fill out two of them motherfuckers at two different, a lot of times. I put in the time and effort to understand if there's racism. That's why we have the NAACP. Motherfucker. That's why we have that. So we can get their asses to moving on to make sure these fucking places. Do you know that people check backgrounds and shit just to keep majority of the minority races down? Did you know that? Blacks deserve to be in jail. Sure, but there's some of them that don't belong in jail. So they let my ass out. They knew I wasn't a part of that shit. They blessed me with a reward. There's a court system. I got in trouble for Milano and shit. Cause Milano chick got me in trouble and shit. But I'm all safe. I'm okay. But there is white privilege. So if you take applications from yourself, you go in there in person, and you don't need to show up for a white person. Okay, you just put your white friend's name. Okay, you put less credentials. I have credentials over most white folks. You go in there, you go over there, and I ain't saying most white folks of the world. Okay, you know what I'm saying. But a lot of white folks that I've talked to, they seem to have a low IQ to me. I don't understand why they got high and low IQs, but maybe I'm talking to the wrong white crackers. Okay, but if you put a white man's name. And you put white, there's racism still there. They still have to do that census shit. Census. You got to make sure are you white, black? Right? You white or black? You see that racism right there. They looking at your race already. And you basically, because I don't answer that shit. I put two of them. You don't answer, you're black. Okay, you're white. You go to that same restaurant. It's mainly Denny's. Go to a racist, more likely to be used to be racist restaurant. Or even go to McDonald's. You'll see that the manager is usually white, right? That has nothing to do with white privilege, though. But white privilege is dated back all the way to the imperialist time, in which they controlled 70% of the world's population. As you already should know, this is a fact, right? So if you go, now I'm not talking about Africa. I'm not talking about the Far East, the Africa here. As a matter of fact, let's talk about Africa. The U.S. Embassy asked my wife if I was black or white. Okay? White privilege is where you have to cut corners. A black man has to cut corners to earn his way to get the proper respect in order to get the approval of me marrying my wife because I'm black. Okay? They say, you doing it yourself. White people ask me questions, you doing it yourself? Yeah. I don't pay no money to no lawyer to do my shit for me. No, I know how to read their ebonics. I know how to read their linguistics. I know how to read that shit, that rhetoric and shit. That shit is confusing to a time, for lower minorities, but it's okay. But I can understand it. There's a difference between reading and speaking, because I speak differently. I can read it and understand it, but I can't speak the way their wordings are, okay? This is European empire, Latin America and shit. But there is white privilege now here. You fill out the applications, long story short. You go into multiple stores. You'll notice that your white friend or a fictitious white friend, if you make up a false phone number, will get the calls more than even if you qualify. Try it. I say, why don't you test that theory out if there's no such thing as white privilege? Test that theory out. I have been called nigga, okay, racist by racist people, okay? And I know the KKK does exist, so there is such thing as white privilege. I'm pretty sure by 200% there are some KKK members in the political offices, okay? So, that's common sense too, so what is this thing that there's no such thing as privilege? There is privilege, okay? There are white privileges. White privilege has the highest, actually, in the world, okay? Now, I know poor white trash don't count in this particular event here, but it does happen, okay? It does happen. So you can't say it just doesn't happen, okay, ma'am? This is my response to you. There is white privilege and also black privilege. If you want proof of it, you have to test this theory out, because I did it already before. Peace. Have a nice fucking day. And please, don't be ignorant. Let's say it's a possibility. Say possibility. That makes you more intelligent, okay? You know, there's a high possibility for white privilege if you're driving in the car and you're drunk. There's a high possibility that you won't get shot if you pull out a gun in front of the cops, okay? Even though they got control of the media, right? And you know the Jewish people are part of that white power type shit, okay? And I told you about this jealousy thing. White people are very jealous of black people, okay? Once they come up and they got the rhythm and blues and shit, they don't want to take over every fucking thing. The niggas are coming, right? You don't want to kill all of them. You don't want them black people to be extinct, okay? They have talents, motherfucker, okay? Don't lie to yourself. Don't say there's no such thing as white privilege, motherfucker. You know, watch her video and come back and see if you disagree with me or not. Now, if you did your test like I did the test. I can go out there right now and find white privilege right now. Without being biased, without being biased, I can actually psychically tell you what this person is doing. I told you, I used to work in a couple stores and I was called out my name a few times for doing absolutely everything they asked me to do. Okay, it's not an assault, it's just their perception of black people. They automatically assume that every black person is wicked or evil, including guys with glasses, because there's a certain perceptions on how people look at you stereotypically if you do wear glasses or not. Okay, when I drive down the street, I got pulled over 6 times because I was black, but when they saw my face, something clicked. I can hear it in their minds. This motherfucker's not an ordinary nigga. All right? This is because I got a nice car. They pulled me over and shit. It does happen, okay? And I didn't even break no law. Just give me a ticket for slight speeding or, you know, no violations. They just want to pull me over. It has happened. I got 2 tickets. I remember one time I got a garbage bag violation because they seen me come outside and put it outside, and they took me to court. And then when they saw me to court, they was like, "Oh, we got mistaken." They told me we made a mistake. When I got to court of law, when that girl got me in trouble and shit, they took me to, it was a fucking mistake. Because they said, okay, this motherfucker is not like the fucking other niggas, okay? All right? So if a nigga act like a nigga, he belongs in the fucking jail, right? I don't act like an ordinary nigga in the courts. I don't act like an ordinary nigga out on the streets. I don't act like that with my mouth, okay? But white privilege does exist. So don't ignore it and don't try to be a coon and shit and say, oh, wow, white people are good. Oh, white people are good. Let's stay away from mostly black and minorities, and you'll be safe, okay? Trust me, okay? I say I don't hate niggas, okay? I live above some niggas right now. But I'm not afraid of the niggas. That's the whole trick, okay? I use my brain and shit, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, what else is to say about white privilege? This is a response message to her, and if you disagree and you want some proof of this white privilege, just ask, okay? I can give you some proof, okay? If you want to talk to me, you need some counseling on what white privilege is again, then you just talk to me and I'll convince you by words. Okay? We probably don't even need to go out there. And I'll try to tell you that you live in a nice neighborhood. You live in a white neighborhood. I live in a white neighborhood. Okay, I seen white people keep their doors open like they didn't have to worry about it. But that's the nice area of white people. And you got to understand something. If you're white, okay, and you go into the store, they'll look at you in a different eye. Okay, people look at you differently, stereotypically. That's a form of white privilege. If you go in there white and you wear a mask and you're white, that's a form of white privilege. A form of white privilege is when people look at you with a judgmental bias, okay, and assume that you're nice. But if I go in there with my FUBU coat, they automatically, that's not white privilege. So people go understand what the definitions are. It's okay. We still growing up. We still humans. Peace and love to you, brothers and sisters. Light and dark. Welcome to my page. You can have a nice fucking day. And understand that all these things exist. This white privilege, this also Oriental, privilege. You can't get hired at the Chinese restaurants. They're not interested in your ass. Okay. All right. Okay. Peace.